Coming up on this episode of Earth, we travel to Toledo, Spain, where a legacy of growing grapes sustainably has been underway for centuries. We visit a small village in Germany with a very big answer to sustainable packaging worldwide. We introduce you to a medical diagnostics company where every test is a life. And we find out why it's being called a styrolution to make plastics better for the environment. Finally, we visit the coast of Texas to see how injured sea creatures are being nursed back to life, thanks to an aquarium's wildlife rescue center. It's all coming up on Earth. Hi, I'm John Holden.
And I'm Andrea Ocampo. Welcome to Earth.
We're starting off our show here in the heart of Spain, in the ancient city of Toledo. You know, the city is still known as the Imperial City of Spain. And at one time, it was the capital of the Spanish Empire. Today, as you can see, it still protects its legacy and heritage and history, but especially protects its legacy of growing grapes sustainably, as you're about to see. Located on a hill overlooking the winding Tahoe River, much like a moat surrounding an ancient castle, Toledo is a true sight to see as the cultural capital of central Spain. This medieval water wheel arch, a few miles outside this venerable city, was once part of its ancient culture. Built in the 14th century, it was integral to grape growing.
Grape growers have been here. We have found evidence since 14th and 15th century. So they have been here for ages.
Hundreds of years growing
hundreds
grapes.
Of years. Making the same as we do nowadays. Thanks to this water wheel, they could irrigate the vineyard. So we stand today at the same place. This history is very important to Emperador Group to preserve because it's a symbol of the sustainability, of the preservation of our history and our traditions.
That grape growing tradition continues today in the Emperador Distillers vineyard, where winemaking embraces both sustainable tradition and the most modern viticulture practices.
Emperador, as the largest brandy producer in the world, we have a responsibility to our global consumers to deliver world-class products to them while sustaining the environment for the future. The heritage of centuries-old traditions are enhanced with modern, innovative technologies that look after the land and the natural environment around us.
It begins in the Emperador Distillers vineyard near the ancient city of Toledo, where the grapes are ripened to perfection. Its grapes are grown in Spain because of the optimal climate and local winemaking traditions.
Brandy starts here with the grapes that we grow here. We care of all the process from the vine to the bottling plant and to the clients and suppliers. We measure everything and we try to improve in all our processes, and the result is a very high quality products and respectful with nature, environment and people.
Emperador believes that its success entails the latest innovations that lead to preservation and sustainability of its surroundings.
It's important to say that we make exactly the same product as our ancestors, but with the new technology. We make it more efficient. All the inputs we use for the vineyard are just the inputs the vines need, and no more and no less. So we maximize the yield and the production of the vineyard in a sustainable way.
That includes soil humidity and salinity sensors monitored by technicians, an aeration system in the irrigation pond to micro-oxygenate the water, and smart sprayers to carefully adjust each dose of irrigation water and fertilizer. as well as high-flying drones to carefully inspect the hundreds of acres of vineyard. That sustainable battle includes fighting against bird pests that eat the grapes with the ancient art of falconry. This is Soranjo. He was born in this vineyard 4 months ago, and he knows the vineyard pretty well, and he certainly knows how to keep the pests out.
It's the same technique as our ancestors used, and we like to grow up our own falcons in our vineyard so that they live here and we can keep all the bird pests away from the grapes.
Its equal focus on making quality spirits, legacy, and protecting the environment allows such exquisite foods as these to be grown and nurtured. The result? A glass that lets us celebrate life's special occasions while taking care of this good earth. Cheers. Our next story takes us here to the Bavarian culture of southern Germany. Sitting at this small cafe near the small village near Wolfurt-Schwenden, Germany, I wouldn't think of wasting one bite of this delicious Apfelfreides, or apple dessert. But you know, wasted food is more than a shame. Globally, it amounts to some serious environmental problems. But one company in this area is doing something sustainable about it, as you're about to see. Back to the food. Every year, people in the U.S. throw away more than 33 million tons of food, enough to fill the Rose Bowl Stadium every day. Wasting less food would help feed a hungry world, plus save on disposal costs and over-purchasing by restaurants and stores. Furthermore, less food waste means less carbon dioxide emissions. But keeping our food fresh and edible has a downside. Most perishable items are packaged in protective plastic, for which millions of tons of plastic are produced annually.
Plastic has to be reduced for sure. This is really something where everybody has to work on, but that means we have to reduce also the production amount of the items what we need every day. I think plastic is still necessary to protect the food, to get a longer shelf life. So we can do a couple of things. One is we can make the plastic more reusable, more recyclable. We can make it more green. We can make the whole plastic more convenient for the whole environment.
The answer may very well be found inside this impressive plant in Wolfurt-Schwenden, Germany. I found some intriguing solutions to one of the world's greatest environmental problems, food waste. And it's being done by the largest employer in this tiny Bavarian village. For 60 years, Multivac has been a leading worldwide provider of packaging solutions for food products of all types, as well as for life science, healthcare, and industrial products.
Our mission has always been, since 60 years when this company was founded, to preserve food and to give a hygienic pack to medical and pharmaceutical industry. We want to contribute to the success of the small local butcher as well as to the big multinational healthcare company in respect to supplying a pack which is environmental friendly, which does its job in respect to protecting the product and is recyclable.
One challenge to the packaging industry has been to develop sustainable packaging from materials other than standard multi-layer plastic films.
We reach 1.6 billion people every day consuming products which were processed and packaged with our solutions. So that's a great responsibility we do have. So what do? We do three things. We reconsider, we reuse, and we recycle.
One good example of Multivac sustainable solutions is the Multi-Fresh Vacuum Skin Pack. It extends product shelf life, reducing waste. Plus, its production is a major source of employment in the area.
This package called Multi-Fresh Package, and the upper wrap encloses the product like a second skin. This gives a very nice product appearance and product placement at the point of sale. Due to the extended shelf life of skin packed products, food waste can be reduced significantly. And you can imagine, this helps to reduce plastic content up to 85%.
We follow the 3 R's. It's renewable, reduce, plastic and recycle, make the packaging ready for recycling. So when we have a look on the paperboard, we follow all 3 topics. On the one hand, the main material for the packages within the paperboard family, there are various packages. It's made out of fiber-based material. So it's a renewable, coming out of a renewable resource. So we have pure paper and we have plastic, and you can put both into the recycling loops.
Multivac is developing new packaging materials that have an even higher recycling potential. They aim to reduce packaging materials overall by 15%, and they're committed to working with countries around the world to achieve sustainability goals.
Definitely our goal is to have a zero impact on the environment, but also deliver still a perfect pack to protect the product we are packing.
You know, what an amazing time I've had in this charming Bavarian village. And like I told you, I wasn't about to waste this amazing food. So it's good to know sustainable technology is underway here, so people around the world can help cut down on food waste by protecting it in much safer, much greener packages. Next up, field correspondent Andrea Ocampo in Raritan, New Jersey.
For diseases with available treatments, the facts are simple. The earlier they are detected, the higher the chance for getting the right treatment quickly. If your patients have ever waited for a result like a glucose level, a pregnancy test, or even the results for a clean bill of health, then you know how important it is to deliver their results fast and accurately so they aren't waiting on the edge of their seats. That's why we're here in New Jersey, where innovative technology is saving lives through diagnostics. Let's take a closer look. Diagnostic testing recently became a household topic with the emergence of COVID, with people across the world awaiting days for critical COVID test results. In addition, chronic diseases and conditions like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease are on the rise worldwide. Those examples, in addition to rapidly aging population, are leading a massive growth in demand of diagnostic services. According to the CDC, in the United States, 14 billion lab results are ordered annually. That number should not be surprising because a staggering 70% of medical decisions depend on laboratory results. Healthcare providers rely on a variety of tools to diagnose conditions and guide treatment decisions. Among the most common and widely used are in vitro diagnostics.
In vitro diagnostics actually is a pretty straightforward term. In vitro means test tube, and diagnostics means we can use information to help screen, diagnose, and monitor patients. And the way we do that is that the bloodstream is a superhighway of chemical markers that tell us how every organ system in the body is functioning. I think the key thing about in vitro diagnostics, both for physicians and patients, is they sometimes think about it as numbers, but really it's more than numbers. To the medical healthcare team, it's decisions. Those numbers are really used to help guide patients through care pathways and to help make life-changing decisions. Can you go home safely from the emergency room? Do you need to go to the operating room to have a heart procedure? Do you need to screen more for something strange in your body? So it really has actually a critical aspect for managing patients' lives.
When the world needed them most, OrthoClinical Diagnostics relied on its rich history and brought to market a COVID-19 test in less than 3 weeks. The test provided results that were fast, accurate, and reliable. The COVID tests were created at Ortho's Global Center of Excellence for R&D.
So OrthoClinical Diagnostics has been a pioneer in this space, right, of clinical diagnostics, more specifically in infectious disease for the last several decades. For instance, even before COVID hit, in the diseases like HIV, hepatitis, HTLV, Chagas-like diseases, we had tests that were available that could be performed on our machines.
We basically have 2 different types of products. We have instruments that actually do the testing and the diagnostics, and then we have tests that are run on those instruments. And so supply chain at Ortho is all about making sure that our products are available for patients when they need tests run. What most people don't realize is that there's over a dozen people, different touch points that are touching product at any given time. From the time the raw material hits the plant, all the way through the manufacturing process, to when it's picked and packed, to the person who's driving it, to the person who's delivering it.
Ortho has a unique platform. It's a waterless technology platform. So if Ortho is reducing its environmental impact and also helping its customers reduce their impact, as it relates to the environmental impact, we've collectively lowered our environmental impact and given more back to the environment.
We're reducing waste in our manufacturing process, we're reducing packaging and looking at more eco-friendly packaging, and we're working with our partners globally to reduce our carbon footprint.
Because every test is a life, every meaningful test is a medical decision. And why that's really important for patients is, as they go through, whether it's a routine health screen or actually a new health challenge they're facing in their life, the ability for the patient to actually have those tests be accurate and reliable is critical as the physicians navigate them through the healthcare system.
Diagnostics have moved far beyond the old-fashioned X-ray for broken bones. In vitro diagnostics are well recognized and are a critical component of the clinical decision-making process, from the local clinic to the largest of hospitals. The results from these screenings can help you catch any issues before it's too late and empower exceptional patient care to a healthier, longer life. Until next time.
Our next story takes us here to a beautiful wooded park right outside the little town of Shanahan, Illinois. A great place to go hiking, biking, kayaking on the river. And speaking of the Des Plaines River, it's hard to imagine that just 50 miles down the river is the big city of Chicago with almost 3 million people. And every one of those people, including you and me, are sometime today going to be using some kind of plastic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. As I found out, it all depends on what kind of plastic. Let's take a look. In general, plastic has gotten a bad reputation in terms of the environment. But while we can't ignore the fact that it's become part of our throwaway culture, people tend to lump all things made of plastic into one box. In fact, there are many different kinds of plastic, each with a unique purpose. Plastics play an integral part in our daily lives. Helmets that keep our kids safe, energy-saving insulation in our homes, food packaging that reduces waste, and insulation for medical products like life-saving vaccines and test kits. One kind of plastic used in all of those things I just mentioned is called polystyrene. Here in Shanahan, Illinois, barges filled with styrene monomer, the basic building block of polystyrene, line up to have this raw material offloaded for processing.
Polystyrene certainly doesn't deserve the negative attention that it currently has. It's simply misunderstood, and those people who understand polystyrene view it pretty positively. Polystyrene's inherent material properties often mean that less material needs to be used in the first place. So take this foam coffee cup, for example. It's almost 98% air. So along with using less material, you get unparalleled material properties such as insulation that prevents the coffee from burning your hand, or alternatively in cold temperatures, keeps vaccines cold during transportation.
Plastic products are often regarded as low-value, disposable items, but materials used for similar purposes don't easily break down in a landfill. Most plastic alternatives require industrial-scale composting facilities, which aren't available in many communities.
Polystyrene can be recycled with up to 5 different types of technologies, but there are 2 that stand out in particular. One is dissolution. In this technology, polystyrene is dissolved in a solvent, impurities are removed, and then the solvent is evaporated off, leaving polystyrene ready for reuse. Another technology, depolymerization, is very well suited for polystyrene due to polystyrene's simple molecular structure that can be broken apart back into individual molecules, impurities separated, leaving styrene monomer with properties almost identical to conventional styrene monomer. This means that the material can be repolymerized into new polystyrene and can even be used for food and medical applications.
As we've seen, all plastic waste is not created equal. The best solution is to make plastic easy to recycle, to close the loop from production to reuse. The company INEOS Styrolution treats polystyrene as a valuable resource.
We're working with a lot of partners right now to really collect more waste, polystyrene waste, and turn into this process. And we're working into projects on a global basis in Europe, in the Americas, and in Asia Pacific to eliminate the food waste and the plastic waste for the future. Basically to incorporate and create a real circular economy for polystyrene and styrenic polymers.
What we're doing here is testing our polymers to make sure that the recycled materials are suitable for our customers, verifying the impact strength, the thermal resistance, the chemical resistance, all the various aspects that make the plastic suitable for our customers. This polystyrene is very versatile. You can use it over and over again, and we verify that here in our laboratory.
We're standing at our production facility here in Channahon, Illinois. This is where we make our polystyrene. What you see behind me are the tanker cars that bring in the additives that we use for producing polystyrene. The styrene comes in via barges up the river, and that polystyrene then is produced here and shipped out in large rail cars, which is used by our customers to make the packaging that people use for their food.
You know, sometimes we hear so many negative things about plastic that we forget that some companies are working harder than ever to make plastic better for the environment, to make our rivers clean, our wooded areas pristine, and our plastic more green. Finally, we take you to Padre Island National Seashore in southeast Texas, the longest stretch of undeveloped barrier island in the world. So do you remember the nasty winter storm that affected Texas back in February of 2021, where millions of Texans were without heat for days? But an unusual storm like that also affects wildlife, especially sea turtles, including nearly 1,000 sea turtles that were saved thanks to the rescue wildlife programs that are underway here. Let's take a look. Sea turtles, even though they're cold-blooded reptiles, they depend on water temperature to maintain body heat. When the water becomes too cold too quickly, they suffer from a form of hypothermia known as cold stunning. This causes decreased blood circulation, shock, pneumonia, and sometimes death. Along the Texas coast, here at Padre Island National Seashore, rescuers worked around the clock during that brutal cold snap in February 2021 to save hundreds of critically injured turtles.
The water temperatures dropped so quickly, they literally just stunned, which we call hypothermic stunning, and they needed rescuing because they were vulnerable to predators and to boat strikes, and were not able to get to safety where they ended up washing up on the beach and unable to move for days. So to save about 3,000 turtles in the local area, of which 1,000 went to the Texas State Aquarium for rescue and care.
This was enormous. We haven't seen a cold stun event like this in the history. We've talked about cold stun events that date back to the 1800s, but this erased all of those. And it brought everybody into the park. The aquarium is one of our primary partners. If they had not been here, we could not have done this job.
Since the beginning of 2021, the Wildlife Rescue Center here at Texas State Aquarium has released more than 1,070 sea turtles. But that's not all. Most marine species found on Padre Island National Seashore are part of the aquarium's efforts to recover and rehabilitate all kinds of injured sea creatures and wildlife, to nurse them back to health and protect their habitats.
Pickles right here, she has cataracts on both eyes, and Crush, Phil, and Lil, they have buoyancy issues. So they were struck by boats.
So this is Mila. She's one of our ocelots here at the Texas State Aquarium. So she was born in human care. Ocelots, there's only about 50 to 80 left in the wild in Texas. So they're part of the species survival plan with the Association of Zoos and Aquarium.
The significance of the Texas State Aquarium is we are the official aquarium for the state of Texas. We hold that distinction proudly, and we take that from being in an aquarium where people come and visit and see the animals and learn about marine ecosystems, all the way to our wildlife rescue program, saving endangered species along the Texas coast.
Over 31 years, the Texas State Aquarium has become recognized as one of the top aquariums in North America. Its wildlife rescue program is one of only a handful in the United States, with the capacity to care for thousands of marine and aquatic mammals, sea turtles, birds of prey, and shorebirds.
As you can see, there is a lot to see and feel here at the Texas State Aquarium. For instance, you can feed a flamingo. Don't take all of it, or you'll get full. You can interact with a dolphin, and you can even touch a stingray or shark.
We're here to inspire people, and we want to inspire people of all ages. We want to give them opportunities to get up close and personal with animals here at the aquarium, touch, feel, have a full sensory experience to understand how important animals are in our environment.
So this is a behind-the-scenes look at the Wildlife Rescue Center. Here, boy. We're here with a 1-year-old orphan dolphin calf who loves to play with toys and squirt guns. We're just taking care of him until he's old enough to take care of himself and find a new home.
His mother was deceased at the time, and so at that age, unfortunately, bottlenose dolphins can't really fend for themselves, and he was very dehydrated and malnourished, and he wouldn't have made it without any human intervention.
A visit to the Texas State Aquarium inspires a new appreciation for our oceans and the wildlife that lives in and around them. Thanks to the aquarium's presentations, exhibits, and wildlife rescue programs, it's becoming a global leader in protecting the marine animals of the world, the Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico. I'm John Holden. Thanks for watching.